in his second season, we hope, as the head coach of the Cal Poly men's basketball team, John Smith in studio. Thank you for coming in studio.
Anytime, CJ. Anytime for you. Thank you.
Okay, last year is over.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you're not thinking about the 7-23, 4-12 in the Big West, because why would you when COVID hit? Right when the season ended.
Exactly.
And now you've had not only recruiting to deal with, you've had some guys transfer, you've got to deal with COVID itself, whether you're going to bring the kids back, if you can, how are they going to work out.
Right.
So let's go back to that. Let's go back to, you were in studio since COVID. You came in because you came in when I was doing my 4 months of, I was offering my microphone to black people in San Luis Obispo and around the country after George Floyd was murdered. By the way, thank you for doing that. It was such an effective, I mean, it's still in my heart. I'm still doing it, but it was just something I had to do for a while. And you were one of those people that came in and it was fantastic. So COVID hits, you're not really sure what's going on. Kids go home, summer hits. How are you preparing in June-ish for the fall and what would come for your second season as head coach?
Yeah, you know, we were just trying to find a way to safely bring everybody back together and then follow the proper protocols of how we can get on the floor together. And, you know, the first thing was just trying to get them here. And we were fortunate enough, being in the community that we're in, that wasn't as impacted as other communities with the virus, that we had everybody back probably by June 15th, June 20th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, but then, you know, from there, it was just, you know, social distance type practicing, 2 to the basket, can't share a basketball. So, but just having them all here together was great, and starting to build their camaraderie as a unit, because it's a brand new team. You know, there's 8 new guys on this team. You know, so trying to build that as early as possible was very important.
How did you get them to work out? And live? Or did you do classes like freshman guys live together, sophomores live together? How did you handle that when they came back?
It's crazy, and I heard you talking about you know, the types of houses with 9 people.
Oh my gosh, my interns are killing me.
Well, my upperclassmen before COVID hit had, you know, negotiated a contract of living in a brand new apartment. It's unbelievable. 9 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, you know, upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah.
So
fancy.
Yeah. But all the upperclassmen live there.
And they still do.
And they still do.
And how's it going?
It's been going great. Not one of them, knock on wood, have contracted the virus. Our freshmen, we were able to, with the help of different donors and different people that's connected to real estate in the community, we're able to get them different, you know, housing situations off campus.
Okay.
And keep them separate and together, you know. So throughout the summer, we didn't have one case.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Over the past 10 years, I would say, whenever I interview coaches, we talk about the difficulty of dealing with kids and their phone, right? The social media, the posting, the texting, the tweets, the Snapchat, all that. That's easy now. I mean, how do you babysit them when they're not in the gym or on campus, knowing that they're doing the right thing? I don't get how you can do that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. We've been having a lot of conversations with our guys about the importance of, you know, social media, and the importance of what we're dealing with right now. You know, just trying to make sure that they're not being reckless with this virus and everything, and taking it serious. And for the most part, these guys have done a phenomenal job.
Wow. Wow. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You should be proud, because it starts at the top.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, it really does. You and I, we've been in sports our entire lives, and we played sports.
Yeah.
And we modeled after our coach and their coaching staffs. And so it really does mean that you're doing a good job, and that you've got the right people in with you on the bench leading these kids, which is a super cool thing. Okay, Bethesda comes to town. You were supposed to be in Portland for a tournament. And how did that go down? And then how did you get Bethesda in to at least get some sort of game in?
Yeah, you know, we were trying to prepare for the Portland tournament, and we were hoping to get it in, but, you know, the county made a recommendation that you don't fly outside of California. And, you know, we adhered to the recommendations and stayed within California. And so that made us, you know, try and find a opponent quickly. And I had a great relationship with Bethesda's head coach, you know, being from Southern California. And I called him. I said, hey, would you mind coming up and just playing us? You know, we just need to play somebody else. These guys have been going against each other since June, and they're tired of each other. They're tired of me yelling at them for every little mistake. So he was great and gracious enough to drive up the day of the game, and then turn around and drive back down.
It's safer because
Yeah.
they're not in hotels and it's
Yeah.
less exposure.
Exactly.
Keeps your pod tighter.
Exactly.
And it is the moving parts. It is so cliche.
Yeah.
It is. We can never use that cliche again after this year.
No.
Because we'll never live it again.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
And you might have a game in 2 days, and you don't even know where.
Yeah.
And if. How does that challenge you as a coach? It's
Yeah.
not like you're working with a kid that just can't keep his grades up,
Right.
or this kid's in relationship problems and doesn't show up for practice,
Right.
or this kid oversleep. This is nuts, John.
Yeah, every day I give the guys a thought of the day, right? And the thought of the day today was, you have to learn how to play without the basketball and without your coach. And what I mean by that, we don't know when we're going to play, who we're going to play. So we may not have a day to prepare for a team. You just have to go out there and play, So you have to be ready and just resort back to childhood days, like, hey, 5 guys, you want to play? Let's go out and play, and just play basketball.
I love it. It's like a pickup game.
Yeah,
it's just like you bumped into each other at the gym.
Right.
I got next.
Right. So that's the mentality that you got to take on this year.
Then how are you trying to figure out who your starting 5 are going to be? Obviously you have ideas.
Yeah.
But how can you figure that out when you're playing Bethesda, which is a team that's a little different?
Right.
You might play San Francisco. You hopefully will play Santa Clara. And usually these pre-Big West games are when you really figure out who your starting 5 are, who's coming off the bench first.
Right.
How does that work in your coaching style?
We every other day we try and put them into a simulated game, and through that simulated game, you stat it. And through those stats and through, understanding concepts, the cream rises to the top, or the people that are ready rise.
They show it.
They show it. And that's what's been happening. And, we have 7 freshmen, so they're learning on the fly, and they're realizing that they're not as ready as they thought they were. But that's okay. That's what we brought them here for. They're talented, but they still have a lot to learn. And, we have a good veteran crew that's helping them out with the Riley Teals and Mark Crows and, Tuka Yakala and Hank Collinsworth, Keith Smith. They've done a great job.
So if you bring in 7 freshmen, and you had a couple leave, a couple graduate, so it's starting to be, I always think a new head coach should get at least 3, maybe 4 years to get in their own guys, their own recruiting.
Right.
Their recruiting classes. 7's a lot in 1 year.
Yeah.
How are you feeling now about the core?
I love the core. It's not knocking anything. Anytime you take over a program, I've done it many times before, the importance is trying to establish your culture and create your own culture, and not the culture that you inherited. And the guys that we've brought in fit the culture that we're trying to build here. And, fortunately for us, I've been trying to tell everybody, everywhere that I've taken over or a different program, year 2 and year 3 is where you see the change, especially year 3.
For sure.
And with these 7 freshmen, if they go through this year together and come back next year, which they will, that's year 3 for us. And you will see, we're no longer trying to lay down the foundation and create what the concepts and our system is about. They understand it, and now they're able to teach it, for anybody that comes behind them, And then the upperclassmen that we have returning on top of them, Ali, Karoma, Kobe Rogers are phenomenal. Tuka, Kyle Colvin.
And now what about being in Mott Athletic Center without fans? That's a reality for you. And probably it may be your entire season.
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
There may be a Big West tournament down in LA as well that has nobody in the stands. Is that something you've talked to the kids about already?
Yeah, we have. And we kind of related it to the NBA. The NBA, I felt, people say it's the bubble championship, but it was the truest form of championship.
No question.
That you can have, because it's just about who's going to rise to the occasion without extrinsic motivation of a crowd or distractions of a crowd. Who can focus on playing 40 minutes or 48 minutes the best? And I talk to our players about it. We do it every single day in practice. There's no crowd. So, just focus on being your best day in and day out, one play at a time, and everything will take care of itself.
And as you mentioned the NBA championship, as a Dodger fan, I kind of feel the same about the Dodgers.
Let's go!
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm still living in that joy.
I am too.
Oh my goodness,
too.
Coach. How's the family doing through this whole thing?
Everybody's good. I appreciate you asking. it's the reason why we were talking. I heard you talking earlier about the safety that we have to have of the kids. Yes, we want to get in 13 games to be qualified for the NCAA tournament. Yes, we want to play a full season, but it's the kids being the safety of our kids first. Mm-hmm.
And what about campus? I mean, that training staff, I was talking to Coach Faith about this last week.
Yeah.
The training staff, sports med, all of those, and those jobs were important. Of course they were. But right now, they're like the most important jobs in all athletic departments around the country.
Yes. Nails.
Crystal
Slover.
And they have to learn everything.
Yeah.
Because it's new to everybody. And every day.
Yeah. Our head athletic trainer, Crystal Slover, and her staff have done a phenomenal job. And Crystal's in charge of men's basketball, right? She hasn't been in one practice because she's been on, every Zoom. She's been and just connecting everybody, make sure everybody's safe and everything. And bless her heart, she's pulled in every single direction. And she has a family of her own. Her daughter's her youngest daughter is a junior in high school and plays basketball. So I just thank her and thank the staff for everything that they've done, pivoting and helping us go along and do our job. I thought Cal Poly did a phenomenal job. Of
and I didn't ask you to say that.
Yeah,
I didn't even ask you what you think.
No, they've done a phenomenal job.
That's so good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel safe and.
Without a doubt.
And now, what about workouts? Are they wearing masks the entire practice?
Yes.
Now, what about when they're in the weight room?
In the weight room, they have to wear masks.
Okay.
On the floor, they wear masks when we get off the floor, and they're not doing extenuating running. Where they have to. Like, we're not going to play with a mask.
No, you can't.
Right.
It's just, So what about testing? Are you testing them before a game?
We test 3 times a week right now.
Wow.
So we practiced today, and Crystal came in and was like, "Coach, I got to get on the Zoom in 15 minutes." I was like, "Practice over, go test."
Wow. And every team's doing that.
Yeah.
And not every school has that opportunity. That's kind of a luxury.
Yeah.
That's good to know. There you go. Even though you're a public school, when something goes down, you figure out a way to do it. And you have a smaller team than, say, softball, baseball, or football. So you have a little bit more. Not that it makes it easier, but you have your boundaries are smaller.
Right.
The little box you keep them in.
Exactly.
Do they get punished if they do naughty things with COVID? Like if they're not wearing their mask and someone tells it, does that happen?
By us, by our staff, yes. They hate this thing called 22s and 33s that they run.
Is it like suicides?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Snap. Oh goodness. He's John Smith. He's head coach of the Cal Poly Mustang basketball program in his second season with Poly, trying to get a season underway. Played Bethesda, had a big win. Next up, San Francisco on Friday, maybe New Mexico on Monday, Santa Clara on Wednesday. Whatever happens, we wish you the best, and you can hear whatever game happens. You'll hear it right here on ESPN 1280.
Awesome. Thanks so much, CJ.
Stay well and healthy. Thanks
Same
for coming in
you.
studio.